A very good morning to all of you. So we will wait for 5 minutes till other people are joining. So in the yesterday session, we will quickly go through that what we have did in the yesterday session. So in the yesterday session, we have learned A to D conversion, analog to digital conversion or pulse coding modulation. So we have learned Nyquist criteria. What is the Nyquist criteria? We have learned different types of sampling, and this is the pulse code modulation. So we have studied up to pulse code modulation. We have completed up to this. We have covered all those things. So now we are having a question. So we will take that question and we will move forward. And today we are going to learn delta modulation, compounding techniques. So what are the different compounding techniques are there? So we are having various laws, but we are not going to study those laws. We're just going to study what is compounding process and why it is used. So we are going to take that question only because in your syllabus we are restricted up to that only. So we will take that and then we will move forward in this chapter. This is a very big chapter. In the last, you are going to study different types of coding styles, line coding styles, which are used to encode your digital data, or you can say digital to digital conversion. So I don't think so today we are going to cover that thing. So we will able to cover up to delta modulation, how the delta modulation is performed, and how the delta demodulation has been performed. So we will cover that. If you are having any doubts up to this session, you can ask.
सर
Yes, tell me.
हाँ सर, चैट बॉक्स में मैंने एक क्वेश्चन लिखा।
Mohammed, TCP/IP model doesn't contain any layer. If you say this is that is the practical model which we are using. So when they have developed, so this has been developed by just a minute. Hello, yes, sir. Good morning, sir. Yes, sir. Hello. So Mohammed, it is normally what we have did. We have compared that TCP/IP model with OSI 7-layer model, and on the basis of that, we have identified which layers are present in your TCP/IP model. So in Forozan, they have given 5 layers. In Tenenbaum, they have given 4 layers. So you can go opt for anything. So in the textbooks, they have given 4 or 5, but in the real world, they have not specified any number of layers are present in TCP/IP model.
सर
You can
लेकिन
consider the
कौन सा
5 layer model. That will be
इधर
easy for you.
5
5 layer model. Yes.
ओके
Now, so we will move for the today's session. So here, what we want to do, we want to digitalize the human voice. So we want to find its bit rate, assuming that 8 bit per sample is there. Now, if you see this thing, so first we require the maximum frequency that is present in audio voice. So normally the voice frequency lies between 0 to 4000 hertz or 4 kilohertz. So if your voice frequency, maximum voice frequency is 4 kilohertz, then the sampling rate should be twice of signal frequency. So maximum frequency is 4 kilohertz. So the sampling rate should be 8 kilohertz. So if your sampling rate is 8 kilohertz, then the number of bits required is 8 bits. So each sample will be encoded by 8 bits. So you can use this formula, sampling rate into bits per sample. So 8000 multiplied by 8. So bit rate will be 64,000 bps or 64 kbps. So it is normally what you are getting when you are downloading that audio signal. You will get that sample rate is for 64 kbps or 128 kbps. So they have calculated in this fashion. So what will be the maximum frequency and what how the number of bits they are required. So always they will take 8 number of samples, 8 bits per sample. So whenever you are, if you are sampling is 256 kbps, so you will able to hear a very good quality of voice because that sampling rate is much more higher as compared to 64 kbps. So if it is 4 times than this one, so if your sampling rate is 4 times than this one, So obviously the reconstruction is very accurate as compared to this one. So this is about the quantization noise. So if you increase the sampling rate, or if you increase the or if you decrease the step size, your quantization noise will be less. So here is another issue which we are facing. If your signal is very large, then the quantization error will be less. But if your signal is very small, then the quantization error will be very large. So what will happen? We are performing a operation that is known as companding. That companding word comes from two words, compression and expression, expansion. So these two words combine together to form this companding word. Now what they do? So the process of companding means we will convert the high amplitude signal, or we will attenuate your high amplitude signal, and we will amplify your small amplitude signal. So it is also known as non-linear quantization. So I will show you how it will looks like in your figure. On the x-axis, this is your input signal, and this is your output signal. And this is your amplification. So if you put the step size equal, what will be that? That will be linear amplification. Now we don't want linear amplification. What we want, if you are having a lower amplitude signal, so if you are here, it will have a higher output. So you are having a higher output. And whenever your signal, whenever your input is higher, your amplitude of your output signal should decrease. So what it will give, so this is known as compression. So the process of compression means lower amplitude signal will be amplified, or it will result in higher voltage, and higher amplitude signal will be attenuated. So this will result in lower voltage. So why we have did this? So we did this because the lower signal, say for example, if your signal is like this is so your signal is like this. Now you have selected quantization in this way. So the step size you have selected in this way. Now what will happen? This signal will have the maximum error or the maximum quantization error. So what we have did, we have taken a block that is known as compression, and what it will do, it will amplify your lower amplitude. So these signals will be amplified and these signals will be attenuated. So after passing this thus passing this input to your compounding block, your output will look like this. Now what will happen? Your this signal is having a low amplitude here, but here the amplitude is equal. So now if you apply quantization, so here the block is compounder block is there. So compounder perform both the operation, compounding as well as expanding. So here compression is there, compression is there. Now at the receiver side, expansion will be there. So what it has done, it has provided a non-linear gain. So non-linear gain means for the lower amplitudes, your gain is high. For the higher amplitudes, your gain is less. Your gain, if your gain is less than 1, then it is attenuation. So in this way, this block has been working. So due to which what is happening now, if you after this block, if you go for quantization, then the signal to noise ratio will be uniform. But for in this case, the signal to noise ratio for the lower amplitude signal will be very poor as compared to the higher signals. So to improve that, we have implemented a compounder signal. Same way we are having an expander. That expander works reverse as the compression will work. So what it will do? So if the compression will work is like this, so it will work like in this way. So for the lower amplitude, it will attenuate, and for the higher amplitude, it will amplify. So it will be working at the receiver end. So this will be the process of expanding. So this is known as the transfer characteristic of compression and expanding or compounding. So this is for compression, this is for expansion. So this will be there. So if you want to draw the whole figure of whole transfer characteristics of compression or compounding, you will draw in this fashion. So your signal may move in positive voltage or it may be moving in negative voltage. So this will be your compression. And this will be your expansion. This is your input and this is your output. So this is known as transfer characteristics of compounder. So by implementing compounding, we have improved the signal to noise ratio of your lower amplitude signal. And it contains two blocks, compression and expansion. So compression will be always available at the sender side and expansion will be available at the receiver side. So this will be your block compounding. So this will be used for the just improving your signal to noise ratio for lower amplitude signal. Or it is also known as non-linear gain, or automatic gain control will be there in your circuit, which will be controlled by your amplitude of your signal. So this is known as compounding process. Now we will see the decoder process or decoding process, how the digital to analog conversion will be there. So PCM encoder has sent the PCM code. So if you see here, we have come up with these codes: 010, 101, 111, 111, 110, 1010, 001. So this encoded code will be sent by the PCM encoder, and at the receiver end we will receive this code. So we have received this code 11 dot 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 1100. So it's a string of bits. So once you have received the string of bits, what we need to do, we need to convert into a sample signal. So it will connect all those bits and it will make a continuous signal. So once the continuous signal is there, we will pass that signal through low pass filters. So low pass filter, what it will do? It will charge through this maximum value, and when it is moving, again it will charge or discharge. So due to charging and discharging, your signal will be very much smoother. So it depends upon the which frequency you have selected, or what is the cutoff frequency of this low pass filter. Your signal will become smooth, or it is also known as low pass filter is also known as smoothing filter. So your output will look like a smooth signal. So you will get an analog signal back at the receiver end. So in this is the process to convert your digital signal into analog signal. So we have studied first pulse code modulation. So pulse code modulation will work in this fashion. Now we are having a challenge here that every bit, whatever data we are want to send it. So if you see in the PCM encoder, whatever bit we want to send, we will be encoded by the same number of bits. So each encoded word will be represented by same number of bits. So you can see the first sample will be represented by 3 bits. The second sample also represented by 3 bits. The third sample is also represented by 3 bits. So the data requirement is very high, or the bandwidth requirement for the pulse code modulation is very high. So what we have did, we have implemented another modulation technique which is known as differential PCM. So DPCM. So in DPCM, what we are sending the difference of the signal. So difference of the signal means we are having two signals, your original signal and your quantized signal. So what we are sending the difference between quantized signal and the original signal. So that difference will be encoded by the some number of bits, and they will send. So is rather sending the this bit, what we are sending the difference between them, this. So difference between 6.1 and D, we are sending this. So we are sending the normalized error here. So the representation of error will require less number of bits as compared to the pulse code modulation. So that is improved. So what improved in DPCM? The bandwidth requirement is decreasing in differential pulse code modulation. Although if you are sending these bits, the bandwidth requirement is very high. Now what we have come up with the solution, we have come up with the solution that is named as delta modulation. Now in the delta modulation, we are sending only one bit at a time. So how is it possible for sending one bit at a time? What we have did, so say for example, this is your signal, and you have quantized the signal with a uniform step. So this will be your signal. So I will take this figure only. So the red one is your original signal, and the black one is your quantized signal. Now there may be only two cases. First case one will be that quantized signal, original signal, is greater than quantized signal. That will be the first case. and the case 2 will be original signal is less than quantized signal. So instead of sending the difference or the bit, what we are sending zeros or one. If the case 1 is there, we are sending 1. So output will be 1. If it is less than this, then output will be 0. Or you can reverse that thing. So whatever choice you want to make, you have to decode in the same fashion at the decoder side. So either you can take it this way or you can reverse it. For the first case, you can take it output as a 0, and for the second case, you can take a output as a 1. So now here, if you see, so they have taken the reverse way. So I will take it here in the reverse way only. So now in this case, if you see the original signal for this block, you can remove this part. So they have not considered this part. So we will start from here. So the quantized signal is less than your original signal for this block. Now, if it is less than this one, so we have represented by 1. So again, for this block, if you see, then the original signal is greater than your quantized signal. So again, we have represented by 1. Here again, original signal is greater than quantized signal. So your values or output generated binary data will be 1. Here again, if you see, the original signal is greater than quantized signal. So you will send only 1. Here also for this duration, original signal is greater than quantized signal. So you will send 1. Now, up to this point, we have sent 1. Now from here, we are having a 1 delay. So that delay, why it is there, I will tell you why it is there. So this one will be this is for this one, this is for this one. So this one is for this one. Now here what is there, the quantized signal is greater than your original signal. So you will replace that data by 0. So again, here also the case will be same. So you will send 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 up to this point. So we are sending 0 up to this point. Again, if you see here, the pink line is greater than your gray line. So you are sending 1 because your original data is greater than your quantized signal. So in this way, we have generated this signal. Now at the receiver side, what we will do, if you are received 1, we will replace by step size. If you are getting 0, that means you have to put minus step size. So you are having 2 cases only. So for if you are received the first case, what you will do, you will add a step size. Delta in your signal. And here you are going to subtract. So we are generating either plus delta or minus delta. So plus delta will be represented by 1 or minus delta will be represented by 0. So once it is received, you can easily convert this signal back using this way. So in this way, what we have did, instead of sending 3 bits, 4 bits or 2 bits, we are only sending 1 bit for each sample. So the bandwidth requirement for this case will be very much smaller as compared to the PCM. So that's why we are using delta modulus much more than PCM or DPCM. So if you are having any doubt up to this, you can ask. कोई भी डेल्टा मॉड्यूलेशन में डाउट है तो आप पूछ लो, उसके बाद आगे जाएंगे. If you are having any doubts, okay, so we move further. So here the modulator circuit is there. So if you see, we are having a 1 unit delay. So that's why you are getting the output after one delay. So the unit delay is normally represented by D flip flop. So whenever you are providing a clock signal, then the signal will be delayed by 1 unit or one period. So that is also known as unit delay generation block. So what we have did, we are having an analog signal, you can say the original signal, that is compared by the staircase signal or quantized signal. So if it is greater than original signal is greater than quantized signal, you will generate one. If it is less than original signal is less than quantized signal, you will get generate zero. So instead of sending here, just if you see in this example, sending we are sending 3 bits. So instead of sending 3 bits, now we are able to send only 1 bit, and we are able to recognize our, or we are able to regenerate our signal successfully. So the bandwidth requirement for this case will be very less. So just see an example what we have take here. So instead of sending 8 bits, we have sent only 1 bit. So the bandwidth requirement will be 8 kbps instead of 64 kbps. So you can reduce your bandwidth by 8 times. So that's why these techniques is very useful. So delta modulation is normally used for the high streaming data where you are going to send your videos. Now compounding is the same technique which you are using for the dynamic range. So dynamic range is normally available in your audio signals. So whenever we are uh, recording our voice in studios, so they are doing this process. Compounding process will be always there when you are recording your videos. So there will be your compounding will be there. So same way, digital demodulator circuit will be there. So in this demodulator, what we will do, we will compare 1100 with your staircase. If you are having fun, then what we will do, we will add a staircase. If it is zero, we will reduce that step size, or we will minus that step size. Just we will take an example. So if you have received a code that is 1100000011. So one means you have to add a step size. So what you will do, this is your first one. Again you are getting a one. So you will get a again one. Yeah. Now you are getting zero. So zero, so your step size will be reduced. So it will be first zero. Then again you are having a zero. So again your step size will be reduced, zero. Again you are having a zero. So this will be reduced. Then you are having one. So this will be your one. Then again one. So you will receive this signal. Now this signal will be passing through a low pass filter. Once you pass this waveform through a low pass filter, your signal will become continuous. So it will become in this fashion. So this will be your analog signal, and this is your quantized signal. So in this fashion, we are using delta modulation. So wherever you are seeing that real transmissions, or you are sending a data at a very high speed, we are using this technique. Now we move to the transmission modes. So we will see how many different transmission modes are there, how they are useful. So we are having various transmission modes. So mode can be classified in two categories. First one is parallel transmission. Second one is serial transmission. Then serial transmission is again classified in three categories: asynchronous, synchronous, and Isochronous. So isochronous is a similar type of asynchronous transmission, but in this, the bit rate, whatever data you are sending, the data will be continuous. So it will be never stopped when you are sending your data in a packet. Whereas asynchronous, your packet may be sent. After that, you can stop for a while and then you can send. It's not a periodic data. In asynchronous, the data will be not in periodic form, but in isochronous, your data will be always in periodic form. So normally, if wherever you are using or receiving the data to view something, like in television, if you are seeing television, your DTH is receiving 30 frames per second. So that will be always isochronous because it will receive 30 frames every second. If it is not able to receive 30 frames per second, then your TV is not able to reconstruct your signal properly, or whatever you are viewing, it will be not a smooth signal. So there we are using this technique. So isochronous technique is useful for the live data transmission and reception, whereas asynchronous and synchronous and parallel can be used as real time or off time techniques. So these can be used in both the modes. So first we are discussing about the parallel communication or parallel transmission. So here what we can do, we can send all those data bits together at a time only. So when you are sending this all bits together, you require the number of bits should be equal to number of lines. So if you are using that thing, that the length of wire is limited, because if your data size is 64 bit, you need 64 lines. So if you need 64 lines, the size of wire will increase. 64 lines, say for example, it is 1 kilometer, source and destination are placed at 1 kilometer, so you need 64 lines with 1 kilometer distance. So 64 copper wires with 1 kilometer distance is very huge, so you can't use that. So normally this transmission is used less than 100 meters. So if you have a source and sender and receiver are placed less than 100 meters, then you can choose this mode, parallel transmission. So printer is an example of parallel transmission where data is transmitted parallelly. So you can see the distance between your PC and your printer will be always less than 100 meters. Then and then you are able to print that data. So that is the limitation. The advantage of using parallel transmission, the data you can send at very high speed. Firstly, you don't require any synchronization bits, so you will not have to place 1 or 0 if your 8 bits are there. So you can send the first packet, your first packet will be received, they can send the second packet. So that will be easy for you for sending the packet from one place to another place in the bunch of 8, 8 packets. Second will be the serial transmission. Now, in the serial transmission, the first block at the receiver side or sender side will be that parallel to serial converter or serial to parallel converter. If you are a sender person, then you need to convert your parallel data, whatever data you have written, it should be converted into serial form. So once it is converted into serial form, each bit is sent one after another. So you can see here on the line, we are sending each data. So each data will be sent after one data. So every data will be placed after the another data. So here we required only one wire. So these techniques are used where you need a very longer distance communication. So if you are having a sender and receiver placed at 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers, you will choose serial transmission. You will not go for parallel transmission. So serial transmission can be wired or it can be a wireless. So Bluetooth is one of the protocol or one of the serial transmission mode we are using. Although you can send the data at very small distance in Bluetooth, the reason is because it's a wireless, the power requirement is very high. So we can't use very high power when you are using mobile phone. So that's why the distance between sender and receiver is very small in the Bluetooth mode. So if you are having doubts up to this point, you can ask questions. We will take 2 minute pause, then we will start again. Okay, so we move further. Third is asynchronous transmission. So we are having a gap between all the data units. So for at the receiver end, you can receive any data first. So either you can receive this first packet at the receiver end. If you see, these are many frames are there. So this is first frame, this is third frame, this is second frame, this is first frame. So each frame will be padded with start bit and stop bit. So this is start bit and this is stop bit. So this will confirm that this frame has been started from here and this frame is ended up here. So the receiver is having the responsibility that it will combine the frames in the synchronization order or the whatever order it is there. They will have to perform that thing. So they that will be performed by receiver. The data will be sent by some path, so that will be routed through some different paths. So each packet, once it is started, you will receive the first start bit. So you will able to recognize that our packet has been started or a frame has been started from here. And if you receive the stop bit, you will able to know that this frame has been completed. So he will store that frame. Once he will store that frame, all the frames will be stacked over in your memory. Once all the frames will be received by your receiver end, he will rearrange all those frames and it will show you in your PC that data, whatever information you want to say. Then that will be received by your receiver. So So UART is an example of asynchronous transmission. So whatever data you are transmitting using USB and all those things, this will be always following this transmission, asynchronous transmission. So they will always having a one start bit and one stop bit. So once they receive that whole start and a stop bit, they will come to know that that frame has been received. Once that frame has been received, it will receive the other packet. So it will receive in this session. So uh, that's why when you are copying some data from one place to another place, you will see your speed is continuously varying because it is not mandatory that your speed should remain same. So if you use this transmission in your TV, what will happen? Your first data you have received, the second gap may be higher or it may be lesser. So in 1 second, you may receive 20 frames. In the second, you will receive 40 frames. So it is no use because by receiving 20 frames in a 1 second, you are not able to reconstruct your video properly in your television. So we are not using this asynchronous transmission in your real-time transmissions or broadcasting signals. So there we are using isochronous system. So this is very much similar, asynchronous transmission and isochronous transmission. So the difference between both of them is this much. So this can be received at the T time or the T time can be varied. But in the isochronous transmission, the T will be always fixed. You are not getting a various transmission. So this is up to this. So here you can see this is an example of isochronous. So the heading is mistake. So in this, you can see whole frame will contain small frame, or you can say huge packet, and every packet will be received at a particular duration of time. So it will follow a period, or it will be a periodic signal. So it will be a something like periodic signal, but it is a digital data. So that's why I can't say that it's a periodic signal. But all frames will be repeated after a regular interval of time. So the frame size, whatever, if you are receiving 64 bits in a second, so in another second you will receive 64 bits. If you are using isochronous transmission, if you are using asynchronous transmission, it is not mandatory. So you can receive either 64 in the next second, or you can receive less than that. So our internet, whatever you are using, that is asynchronous transmission. But if you are using television, your television is an example of isochronous transmission. So okay, so second, now we will move to the digital to digital conversion. So for converting a signal from digital to digital, why it is necessary? The first thing is that already the signal is in digital format. So why we need to convert that signal into another digital form? So the first thing why we need this, that is compression. So for reducing the number of bits we require to convert your digital data into digital data. So these techniques will contain three blocks. Normally it will contain three blocks. First one is the line coding, second one is block coding, and third one is scrambling. So block coding and scrambling is the optional blocks which may be present or which may not be present in your digital to digital conversion. But line coding will be always needed because it will convert or it will reduce the number of bits required to transmit in digital to digital signal. So if you see your data can be in any form. It can be in form of audio, it can be in form of video, it can be in form of text, numbers, graphical image, or any register data. So you may contain all those thing. So what will be there? Your sender will send the data. Your encoder will be there. Your encoder will convert your digital data into your digital signal, which will be a continuous signal, which will be sent by your transmission link. So the encoder block itself contains a digital to digital conversion block. At the digital side, again you are having digital to digital conversion, which you convert that line coding into your proper format, and then it will be converted into digital data. So in this way, you are going to see the digital to digital conversion. So in this chapter, we are also going to cover line coding. So line coding will be there. So it will be here, different line codings are there. So you are going to cover this line coding, how this line coding is used to reduce the number of bits. You will see all those things in the upcoming session. So we will stop up to here. And I will take your attendance right now. So just a minute. If you are having any doubts up to this, you can type while I am taking your attendance. Big data 1,
Present, sir.
10,
Present, sir.
11, Vipin, big data 2,
Yes, sir.
3,
Yes, sir. Present.
4,
Present, sir.
5,
Present, sir.
6,
Present, sir.
7,
Yes, sir.
8, 8, 9,
Present, sir.
12, 'AI' attendance 1, AI 2,
Present, sir.
AI 3,
Yes, sir.
4,
Yes, sir.
5,
Yes, sir.
6,
Present.
7,
Present.
8,
Present.
10,
Present.
11, 12,
Present, present. Sir, present. Sir,
13,
present. 12.
which 11, which enrollment number? 13,
Present, sir.
15,
Present, sir.
36,
Present, sir.
16,
Present, sir.
16, 17, Ayush, 18,
Sir, 18 present.
19,
Present, sir.
20,
Present, sir.
21, 21, 22,
Present, sir.
Present, sir.
23,
Sir, 21 present.
Present,
Sir,
Yes, yes, done. 23,
Present, sir.
Present, sir.
24,
Present, sir. 24.
25,
Yes, sir.
26. Vishnu, 27,
27. 27, sir.
28, 28, 29,
Present, sir.
30, 52, sorry,
Sir, 28 present, sir.
52, Sushil, 31,
present, sir.
32,
Present, sir.
33,
Present, sir.
34,
Present, sir.
35,
Present, sir.
37,
Present, sir.
38,
Present, sir.
39,
Yes, sir.
40,
Present.
43,
Present, sir.
45,
Yes, sir.
46, 46 F, 47, Samir Alam, 47,
Sir, 46 present है.
yes, sir, 47, 48,
Present, sir.
Sir, 46
49,
Yes, sir.
50,
Present, sir.
68,
Present, sir. 68.
51,
Present, sir.
51,
Present, sir.
53,
Present, sir.
53,
Present.
55, 69, 69, Tushar,
Present, sir. Present, sir.
57, Nikita, 58, 71,
Yes, sir.
62, 56,
Yes, sir.
61, 59, 60,
Yes, sir.
63, 64, 65, 73,
Yes, sir, 73.
Mohammed,
Yes, sir.
41, Priyanshu Jha, Shivom Yadav, 44,
Present, sir. Yes, sir.
Darshan, Darshan,
सर वो रिमीडियल दे रहा है मैथ का.
okay, Jaideep, okay, done. BD12, any other student who is present? Okay, so bye everyone. Have a nice day.